on the Weather Channel.
And all the way from the Great Lakes, Detroit, for example, down to the Gulf Coast, New Orleans, you want to stay on the alert for some stormy conditions. Good morning to you, and welcome to Weather Center. I'm Mark Mancuso.
And I'm Dan Atkinson. You're flirting with record temperatures again in the eastern third of the country. Get out and enjoy it because time's running out for the dry, warm conditions. The Big Apple is starting off warm, and the temperatures will build. You'll have breezy conditions under sunny skies in Pittsburgh. Baseball returns to Atlanta in very warm weather, but lurking to the west is a cold front that will bring thunderstorms to Detroit. Mark has the view on the phenomenal heat and the changes underway.
Thank you very much. And as we take a look at the weather this morning, really no surprises here. Very mild air covers the eastern third of the country. Very cold air locked way to the north in Canada, and here it shall stay. Coming down through the western states, we see cool conditions. But look at these early morning temperatures from Florida all the way up to the Great Lakes and into the northeast. Just incredible warmth. The temperatures at the crack of dawn here are running in the mid to upper 60s, even some lower 70s. 65 in Boston, 64 in Philly, 61 in Pittsburgh, Erie, 67. This is unreal, isn't it? And up to the north, even a 63 at Burlington. Snow's melting, but you know what? On Lake Winnipesaukee, the ice is still intact, and there's a lot of people here that watch the ice on Lake Winnipesaukee. It's like one of the rites of spring, the big breakup of the ice on Lake Winnipesaukee. It's just like the first ball being thrown out at the ballpark at Fenway or out at Yankee Stadium there. So they're sitting there and they're watching that ice at Lake Winnipesaukee, and even with all this warm weather, temperatures in the 80s, Jimmy Buffett tunes in the air, the ice will not break. So, still waiting for spring in New Hampshire, but it's not too far away, probably a couple of weeks. That's when that ice will be breaking up. Down to the south we go. Look at these temperatures. A little tossing and turning again overnight. Very mild air and pollen in the air. That is adding to the discomfort level, isn't it? Now, as we check on the temperatures yesterday, these dots represent who had the record heat. Allentown, Harrisburg, Wilmington, Delaware. Those asterisks mean the warmest ever for the month of March. And the heat goes on in New York City. And of course, when you start to see very warm air like this, and people's nerves start to get a little bit rattled. But hey, not at this time of year, right? Everybody's out there enjoying it. And there's a frenzy of yard work going on these days with temperatures well above average in the east. But to the west, we certainly have a little shot of winter with us. Rain changes to sleet in Sioux Falls. and very chilly air with wind chills down to the single digits. So there's still a little bit of winter out there. With more on the storms, here's Dan.
And thank you, Mark. A line of precipitation from the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast will bear watching because it could be the source of severe weather today. Here's a look first off at the radar satellite composite, and you can see the precipitation, mostly light to moderate rain stretching all the way from the Great Lakes into East Texas. There are some embedded thunderstorms, the heaviest of which in the past hours have been over Arkansas. No warnings at this time, but you've been impacted at places like Fairmount and Screeton and Hunter and Morton, Arkansas, as thunderstorms have moved on to the east and northeast. Along this frontal zone, cold front lifting warm, very warm, moist, unseasonable air unstable air, I should say. And in fact, there is a tornado watch in effect for portions of Louisiana. We'll show that to you in just a second. You can see the precipitation is spread through the Mississippi Valley and actually circles back around the upper level low. And it's pretty cold back over not Arkansas, but Nebraska and South Dakota. Cold enough at least for wet snow to be falling from, say around Sioux City back toward McCook and North Platte, Nebraska. We are keeping an eye on an area here where there is a tornado watch in effect for a large portion of northern and central Louisiana and extreme southwestern Mississippi, that until 9 o'clock local time. No warnings in effect either within that area or in Arkansas, where the last severe thunderstorm warning just expired about 20 minutes ago. That was for Woodruff County as a severe thunderstorm moved on to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. Lightning data shows the weakening trend over recent hours of the thunderstorms as they continue making their way on toward the east. The most recent activity from northern portions of Illinois down into eastern portions of the state of Texas. New Orleans, dry for you now, but thunderstorms on the way. They're getting now into the Lake Charles area. Beaumont reporting a heavy thunderstorm, some light rain at Shreveport. Galveston, you're getting some moderate rain now. Areas on toward the north, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, getting some heavy rain from time to time. But things are improving for you around Dallas, where late at night you had some heavy rain move through the Dallas area. Began falling late last night, and it's only been in the early hours of the morning that the showers have tapered off as the cold front passed through. This morning in Dallas, you'll be seeing clearing conditions and cooler temperatures. Even now, you're partly cloudy in Dallas and drier air sweeping in. But it is cold enough now for light snow to be falling from McCook, Nebraska, and North Platte back up towards Sioux Falls, and as Mark was noting, are back towards Sioux City. And in Sioux Falls in particular, you're getting some heavy rain mixed in with sleet from time to time. Across Chicago, good morning. Get ready for a wet drive to work this morning or your commute or taking the kids to school. Some embedded showers with heavier rain making their way in from the southwest, and the rain spreads on across northern portions of Michigan. In fact, along the frontal system making its way into New England, you do have some sprinkles there aggravating the flooding problem. Mark?
All right, let's take a look at your forecast now for you. And as we start you off the current scene, we see the storm in the central states in Iowa here. That'll be pulling its way north-northeastward today. And as it pulls its way north-northeastward, we'll be looking at heavy rain and thunderstorms in the vicinity of this front. Incredible warmth continues in the east. Another day of records, probably from New York to Philly to D.C. And in far northern New England, on the other side of the front at Raw around Caribou, only 48. Looks nice again in Charlotte and Orlando and Miami, but off to the west, be prepared for storms in Memphis and Houston and New Orleans. Dallas drying out. Chicago, wet and windy, 66. Cooling down in St. Louis, 65. You know, it's kind of strange to say it, cooling down in St. Louis to a 65-degree reading. But off to the west, there you see your snows flying in Nebraska and South Dakota.
And rain may slow the ride into work this morning in places from the Gulf Coast to the Great Lakes.
And conditions coming up on TravelWise after your local forecast.
Some of us know it will be all right, even when bad things happen, because we have someone to help see us through it.
Darn thing came out of nowhere. I just missed it.
I know. What do we do? I mean, should we just leave?